On Monday, President Donald Trump made an announcement warning that Tylenol gives kids autism. Oh no. And that hey, women, you just gotta tough it out during pregnancy. Even though, one of the main reasons to take Tylenol, since it is a fever reducer, okay? Fever can actually cause a lot of issues, untreated fever, among the fetus, okay? In the fetus, I should say, during pregnancy. So you got to take care of that whole fever thing. But anyway, Trump says, no, don't take it, because it's bad. It's bad. It's going to do bad things. Okay, so if you're pregnant, don't take it. Don't take it. Now, here's the thing. There is no real evidence linking Tylenol as a cause for autism in children. There is some correlation, perhaps, but no causation. That's very important. That said, Dr. Marty Makary, commissioner of the FDA, on Monday during a press conference, cited a study from one Dr. Andrea Baccarelli, a senior public health academic at Harvard, who co-authored a review that linked acetaminophen to autism and warned that pregnant women should limit their consumption of the drug, not cut it out completely, just limit it. Okay. Makary said Baccarelli's review found the overwhelming body of evidence points to an association between acetaminophen and autism, and quoted the Harvard academic directly as saying, "We cannot wait any longer." Oh, well, I mean, there you go. It is from a senior health academic from Harvard. It must be legit. Except no. Turns out, Baccarelli, he was previously paid for his expert opinion $150,000 in a lawsuit filed against the manufacturers of Tylenol. So this actually happened in the summer of 2023, okay? Baccarelli was hired, or paid, I should say, $150,000 to be an expert witness during a class action lawsuit against Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol. A group of parents had filed this lawsuit back in 2022 with a New York federal court, alleging that their kids' autism and ADHD was a result of prenatal use of acetaminophen. Let me just tell you the number one cause of autism. Okay, it's going to blow your mind here, okay? It's when you have autistic parents and they get together and they have kids. That's the number one cause. All right. That's it. Okay. No, doesn't have anything to do with Tylenol. All right. Anything like that. But anyway, according to a court deposition in August of 2023, Baccarelli said that he had made about $150,000 as a supposed expert witness in the case. Now, Baccarelli, who is the dean of Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health and specializes in how environmental exposures can affect human health, did not respond to a request for comment. Didn't respond. Harvard spokesperson said that Baccarelli disclosed his role as an expert witness against Tylenol in his paper. Now, the complainants in the case, by the way, engaged 5 different experts, including Baccarelli, to testify in their case. What happened? Well, it turns out that in December of 2023, their testimonies got dismissed by a federal judge named Denise Coate, who found their views to be, quote-unquote, unreliable. Oops. Of Baccarelli's testimony, Coate said, the discussion in his reports is incomplete, unbalanced, and at times misleading. In general, Dr. Baccarelli downplays those studies that undercut his causation thesis and emphasizes those that align with his thesis. Basically, he was cherry picking because of course he was. Got to get those fat cherries, so he can make his fat money. Coate said that all 5 of the experts who testified in the unsuccessful lawsuit against Kenvue have not served to enlighten, but to obfuscate the weakness of the evidence on which they purport to rely and the contradictions in the research. Source familiar with the case added that Baccarelli's expert testimony was later repackaged as the study that he co-published last month. Oh, so no, lazy too, apparently. Sure, great. The source shared an independent academic review of Baccarelli's original research that urged him and his co-authors to temper the language when inferring that prenatal exposure to acetaminophen causes autism. The report concluded that there was an association between the two rather than a causal link. Once again, correlation does not equal causation. Just saying. That's how it works. But that said, apparently Baccarelli's own correlation was also rather weak. Professor David Mandel, an associate director for the Center for Autism Research at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, said that Baccarelli's methodology did not provide a rigorous review of evidence. No kidding. No kidding. He added that one of the studies examined by Baccarelli's paper explored the autism acetaminophen link without providing any measure of autism symptoms. No kidding. The statements into the discussion is suggesting that the link is strong rather than somewhat equivocal, combined with the unorthodox methods, raise serious concerns about bias, he told the Times. Yeah, no kidding. In a statement shared by the White House on Monday, however, Baccarelli said that he had discussed his scientific findings and the recommendation not to take Tylenol during pregnancy with the health secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. What, like, no mention of the worm? Because we all know that RFK Jr. is actually just a meat mech piloted by a brainworm. That's the reality of this situation. I mean, it's got as much scientific rigor as this guy's paper. Just saying. Though I might be right. If the brainworm is still alive, which I hear is not the case. I hear the brainworm died for lack of food. Okay, but anyway. Now, he said that RFK Jr. appreciated, or that he appreciated RFK Jr.'s interest in his study, of course. Now, wait a minute, hold on here. So this whole Tylenol autism thing, I mean, it's even pissing off MAGA, okay? Because there were a lot of people, RFK Jr.'s own anti-vax group was like, this was not caused by Tylenol. What are you doing? What are you talking about? I thought they wanted to go all in on blaming the COVID vax or something, or just vaccines in general. But instead, they go and blame friggin' Tylenol. What? It's desperation. That's what it is. That's what all of this looks like. Okay? Now, again, here's the thing. There are some studies that, like I said, have suggested a link, a correlation here between pregnant women taking Tylenol and autism. But scientists point out that these findings are both inconsistent and inconclusive. For example, a study last year funded by the U.S. government investigated about 2.5 million Swedish children and found some evidence that acetaminophen use during pregnancy could cause autism, ADHD, or other intellectual disabilities. However, that association disappears when scientists had compared one sibling who had been exposed with another who had not. Now, the study, which is the largest of its kind, concluded that environmental and other health factors, rather than the use of acetaminophen itself, may have been responsible. Yes. Now, according to the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, Baccarelli's review included several studies that were not as comprehensive or as thorough as the Swedish study, and added that some of the papers included in this research had, quote, biased weighting systems that include parental recall of Tylenol use over hard data. This is wish casting, okay? They really wish they could just nail that down, this cause, so they can blame anything else other than their genetics. That's it. That's the reality here. Members of the Coalition for Autism Scientists, a group of more than 250 American researchers, added that the studies assessing whether acetaminophen causes autism were quote-unquote difficult to conduct. It is highly irresponsible and potentially dangerous to claim links between potential exposures and autism when the science is far more nuanced and uncertain. And in response to Monday's press conference, coalitions at the government's announcement, quote, alarms us researchers who committed our entire careers to better understanding autism. The data cited do not support the claim that Tylenol causes autism and only stokes fear and falsely suggests hope when there is no simple answer. That's it. Here's the thing, though. I can kind of understand that why people are freaking out. Because you do have the autism diagnoses that have increased since the year 2000. They have gone up. But they say the same thing, too, by the way. We didn't have this back in our day. It must be the food, the vaccines, the Tylenol. But wait a minute. They did have this back then. Cases of autism were actually diagnosed before Tylenol was even invented. The first official diagnoses of autism were made back in the 1940s. Tylenol wasn't introduced until the mid-1950s. So, no link there. Timelines here don't mesh for that little theory, okay? No, here's the thing. At the end of the day, more and more people are being diagnosed because we have an increased awareness now. And we have an expanding definition of what it is. It is a spectrum. There are plenty of people that are on that spectrum. There are people on one end of the spectrum who look and sound completely normal. Maybe they're masking, maybe not. I don't know, but they are on the spectrum, okay? Then there are people at the other end, maybe who have a more severe debilitating form, right? Which requires more personalized care, more personalized attention. And then, of course, everyone else is in the middle. They have different kinds of symptoms. I mean, there are people who get overwhelmed by, sounds or things like that. Maybe have a so-called meltdown, where they maybe get emotional for like 5 minutes and then they're fine afterwards. Back to work, right? There are maybe some people out there who might need a comfort item to feel normal, to, have them be soothed. And as long as they have that comfort item, they're good to go. No problem. Again, there is a spectrum. There is no autistic person that is the same as another autistic person. That's it. So this push for a supposed cure for this kind of neurodivergence, and many others, by the way, feels like eugenics. That's what it does. They just want to cure autistic people because they're an inconvenience to neurotypicals. That's what I believe that this is all about. That's it. And by the way, it's not just autistic Americans they want to get rid of. They would like to get rid of folks like me with ADHD and other kinds of neurodivergence, right? That neurodivergence, we don't fit neatly into their little boxes of what they consider to be normal. And as such, we don't have any place here. Well, I got to get rid of those people. Got to do something about them. Got to cure them. Because they're acting a little funny. They're acting a little strange. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. Or, I don't really want to have to do a accommodation for this person. To give them a little extra time to complete a task, or, maybe spend a little more time explaining things to that person. Oh, that's inconvenient. Ooh, I can't do that. That's going to cost me time, and actually, it's going to make me do effort. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. We got to get rid of these people. Cure them. Cure them. Which, to me, makes me think a lot about the eugenics programs that they did on disabled people back in the Nazi regimes. They probably said that they were going to cure those people too. No. I feel like this is just more of this attempt at eugenics to wipe people out simply for the fact that they are different. I think our differences are what make us unique. Our differences are what make us stronger as a society and more understanding. And those differences should be celebrated, not demonized, like this horrific administration is doing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.